Members of the Trump administration will go to Capitol Hill today to testify about the president's proposed budget. It faces pushback from Democrats and some Republicans. Congress ultimately sets the budget. Some lawmakers are concerned about more than $800 billion in proposed cuts over the next decade to Medicaid, food assistance, and health insurance for low-income children. Budget Director Mick Mulvaney said the reductions will help make sure taxpayer money is not wasted.
We are not kicking anybody off of any program who really needs it. That's not, we have plenty of money in this country to take care of the people who need help, okay? And we will do that. We don't have enough money to take care of people, everybody who doesn't need help.
The president's proposal does protect Social Security and Medicare.
Ohio Governor John Kasich has experience dealing with the nation's budget. As a congressman, he chaired the House Budget Committee. He oversaw the 1995 government shutdown and a balanced federal budget. The governor is the author of the book, Two Paths, America Divided or United. Governor Kasich, welcome back.
Thanks, Charlie.
What impact will this budget as presented have on the state of Ohio?
Well, it'd be significant, Charlie, but this isn't going to pass. You know, presidents send up budgets and then the Congress fiddles around. Two things to keep in mind. Number one, we have a program in Ohio where we're saying to people, we will help you, but then we need you to assume personal responsibility. We'll help you to overcome your problems. The problem here is that you can't just take stuff away when people need to be healthy, they need to be fed, you know. So it's not just a one-way street. It has to be both ways. So the other thing is the Congress will play around with this thing. We don't know where it end up. But here's a problem with debt. If they don't come to grips with debt, it's rising higher and higher as a percentage of our economy. When debt goes up, job opportunities go down. And when debt comes down, job opportunities go up. That's why it's important we restructure the federal government.
Governor, what do you say to those who say a society and a civilization can be measured by how well it treats its weakest members?
Well, I would agree with that. And so I think that the changes, the reforms that can come from many of these programs are fine, but you just can't pull the rug out from under people. If they're not healthy, they're not going to work. And if they're hungry, they're not going to go to work. So you have to take care of both of those things at the same time you're trying to bring about reforms.
Let's talk about the number that he's listing for drug control, $27 billion. The big story for most states now is the opioid epidemic. Your state has been greatly affected. What do you make of that number? How do you think the money should be spent on that?
Well, you have to spend some money on this, obviously. We spend almost $1 billion, and we've been on this for 7 years and trying to fight this. But let me tell you the bottom line. I met with the Drug Enforcement Agency officials, 28, 30, 32 years. I said, what do we do? Yeah. Let me tell you, it starts in kindergarten. Our schools have to be the front line. Mothers and fathers, all these, you know, mothers and fathers are civic organizations, but the schools, starting in kindergarten all the way through the 12th grade, have to have a consistent and constant message to kids. Stay off the drugs. It'll either kill you, you'll end up in jail, and you will lose the purpose for which the Lord created you. And it is critical that the schools are the front line and engaged in this, and sometimes it's difficult to get them involved, but it is essential. If we are going to win this battle.
Kindergarten seems so young. You're 5 years old.
You know what? 6, 7 years old. You know, we can skip with 5, but there's ways to talk to kids about how dangerous these things are. The same way we talk to them about the dangers of so many other things. Drugs it's destroying, you know, sort of the culture of our country, and we can win this.
These budgets reflect the values of a president every year, and of course, as you mentioned,
or the budget director, maybe.
Yeah, right. And then, as you mentioned, Congress changes things, but the budget director said yesterday, this budget, we look at this through the eyes of the people who are actually paying the bills, the people who pay taxes. Is that a way to do a budget?
No, I think when you do budgets, and look, I was the chairman of the committee when we balanced the federal budget. The economy got better, but it's a matter of creating priorities. Reform is fine, privatization is fine, but you cannot just move quickly to pull the rug under from people who need help. But at the same time, Norah, we have to make sure that we get to the root of their problem. So where does Congress fall short? First of all, they don't permit people to get GEDs as a substitute to the work requirements you have. People don't know in America, you know, if you're on welfare, you have to work 30 hours a week. If you get food stamps, I actually wrote this, you have to work 20 hours a week. But let's make that work be constructive so that they can have a future, so that they can have skills, so they can get a job. That's what it's all about. And the job training programs offered by the federal government, they're I'll say they're pretty much a joke when it comes to giving states the flexibility to do what we need to do to train our people so they have the skills to work.
Can we talk about the Manchester attack for a second? Your state is known for hosting big events, for instance, the Republican
I was just at a
Convention.
rock concert on Friday night with about 30,000 people.
What concert? Just curious.
Well, I went to see the band live, which and it was right. The Soundgarden was supposed to be on right after that. And by the way, we lost Chris Cornell because of drugs.
But are you looking at different safety protocols now in light of this attack?
Yeah, whenever we have a concert like that, the highway patrol, all the security is out there. You know, I have two 17-year-old daughters, and they're very interested in music. And God, I watched your coverage this morning. It just broke my heart. You know, sometimes we read it in a newspaper or whatever, but you see the mothers that are crying and they don't know where their children are and are they going to, and they know that they're not coming back, but they're holding out hope that they're in a hospital somewhere. Yeah. Look, we can't run away and hide, but we have to do everything that we can do to protect not just the inside, but a little bit of the perimeter. But what I think is so important is who helped this guy build this vest. We have to track this down, and it means good intelligence, and it means cooperation worldwide, and it also means, and I give President Trump credit for this, everybody in this world is civilized, whether you're Christian, Jew, Muslim, it doesn't matter. We all have to stand up and make the argument that this culture of death, of destroying young people, is not acceptable, and we must stomp it out. And those who sit on the fence to think about this, we have to pull them over and say, you cannot be somebody that brings terror to people of all ages, and all race, and all gender.
All right, Governor Kasich, I know most people agree with that sentiment. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
For joining us at the table. Always good to have you here.
God bless them.